Charlotte?
Yeah!
Do you know that?
Yeah.
I love you. Rio Rainbow Cafe. Charger Girl Judah-chan. World of Warcraft. Okay, I have to tell you my World of Warcraft story. Hey, Mr. Soundman up there, can you turn this mic up just a little bit? Can you turn it up can you bring this mic up a little bit? Can you turn it up? Hello? Are you guys making out up there? There's a guy and a girl in that booth, in that cubbyhole up there, and I think there's some action. Bow, chicka, bow, bow. When this sound booth's rocking, don't come and knocking, baby. Anyway. Thank you. Go back to what you were doing. What was I going to say? Oh, World of Warcraft. So here's the World of Warcraft story. I auditioned for like a dozen characters in World of Warcraft, and I never got cast. And I thought some of them were actually good, but, you know, for whatever reason, they chose somebody else. That's fine. Then this character came along. His name is Ner'zhul. He's an orc. He's freaking huge. Big, huge, mean, low-voiced orc. Now listen to me. Do I sound like that? No, I don't sound like that at all. I sound like a teenage punk orc, maybe, but yeah, right? So when they sent me this audition, I thought to myself, are you freaking kidding me? Like, why would I waste my time, right? Because there are 1,000 people out there better suited vocally for this than me. But I thought, you know what? I did Broly. Yeah. And I did, let's see, who else did I do the low voice? Like in Yu Yu Hakusho, I did this character named Bui. And I thought, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to record the best version I can of this orc. And then I'm going to record another version, and I'm going to pitch my voice down, like 2 or 3 semitones. So I did. And they cast me. So I went into the recording session, and I even told them in the audition, like, I needed to be honest, right? I didn't want them to think this is what the guy actually sounds like, and then I show up, hi! And they're like, what the heck did we do? So in the audition, I put pitched, so they would know. And when I got to the studio, they're like, hi Vic, welcome to World of Warcraft, we're so excited, your audition was awesome. And I said, now, just to be fair, you know that I pitched it, right? You hear me? And they're like, oh yeah. That's what we loved about it. They're like, when you pitched it, it gave it this kind of a creepy, not of this world feel. And I was like, oh, that's what I was going for. So I ended up getting to do it, and then just like a month ago, they called me and they said, Ner'zhul is back, Spirit of Ner'zhul, Ghost of Ner'zhul, whatever. And so I got to go back and do more of it. And then Asterix War and MOBA Legends are all I have on my list right now. What? That's right. Wait, I'm adding it to the list. I love you. Thank you. Skippy. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Yay. Skippy. Now part of the list. Also, in case you don't know, I am currently in the middle of my childhood dream production. What was that? Oh. I thought somebody was throwing something. Be more entertaining, damn it. I am fulfilling my childhood dream of playing Captain Kirk in Star Trek Continues. I gotta tell you guys, oh my God. When I was 10, 11, 12 years old, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, I ate, slept, and breathed Star Trek. Like, you don't know. You think You like anime and you're a fan, video games and anime and stuff. Oh, no. I drove my mother insane. She used to call it Star Trash. Because I annoyed her so. It was everything. You understand what I mean? It was everything to me. Like, I would watch it every day, and I would put a cassette player by the television speaker and record the episodes on audio cassette. There was no video cassettes, by the way. There was no video recording at this time. This is like 71, 72, okay? And I would watch it on a 19-inch black and white television. And then I would put the cassette player under my pillow at night. And I would lay there and listen to it as I went to sleep. And I would memorize these episodes, word for word. Music cue, sound effects. And then I wanted to make uniforms. So I got my mom to teach me to use her sewing machine so I could make my own uniforms. Then I would round kids in the neighborhood up and make little movies. I'd make the other kids in the neighborhood wear the uniforms that I made. And I would pretend to be Captain Kirk. I was Captain Kirk. And a little scrawny 80-pound Captain Kirk. Oh my gosh, I look like this in a uniform. And then I would build all the models, and I would sit in front of the television every day with crafts, duct tape, balsa wood, glue, paper, scissors, and make like communicators and phasers. Now here's the thing that I want to impart to you guys. I'd never tried that before. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'd never done anything like that before. What would make a 10 or 11-year-old kid think that he could make a uniform? Inspiration, right? I was inspired by this show, and I wanted to do something like to express my love for it. Sound familiar? Yeah. So now fast forward 40 years, and over those 40 years I've developed skills in filmmaking. My college degree is in film. So I've studied all of the technical elements of making a film. Shooting, editing, lighting, makeup, sets, props, sound design, all of it. And acting. Star Trek made me want to start acting. So I would go to my school at 10 and 11 and 12 years old and audition for school plays or church plays. So why this production means so much to me is that all of these things that Star Trek inspired me to try for the first time, I'm now using those skills that I've been developing for the last 40 years to make Star Trek. Isn't that cool? And Star Trek Continues, that's the name of it. If you haven't seen it yet, go look it up. Online, StarTrekContinues.com. We have 6 full-length episodes. The latest one was just released 2 weeks ago. And it's awesome. The response has been overwhelming. We've got almost 5 million views. And we've won 12 awards, Tellys, Webbies, accolades. And it's an amazing group of people. And all I can tell you is it looks and feels and sounds exactly like the original series from the 60s. It was meant to be a continuation. Many of you may not know that back in the late 60s, the original series of Star Trek was just canceled. It was just canceled in the middle of its 3rd season. It never had an ending. They just stopped it. But you may remember at the beginning of every episode, what would Captain Kirk say? These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. It's 5-year mission. Well, they never did 5 years. They were canceled. So we thought, wouldn't it be cool to continue the 5-year mission and then have an actual finale to the original series of Star Trek where you leave those characters where they were when Star Trek the Motion Picture picked them up in the late 70s. If you remember that movie, Kirk had given up his ship. He took a desk job. Why would Captain Kirk, who everybody knows loves his ship more than life, decide to step down and take a desk job? That's a hell of a story, right? I bet you there's a really good story there. Why would Mr. Spock go back to Vulcan, leave the service, leave Starfleet and go back to Vulcan to pursue this ritualistic purging of whatever remaining emotion was in him. Did something emotional happen to him? Hell of a story, right? All kinds of really neat things that we can do to actually wrap up the series. So that's what we want to do with Star Trek Continues. So even if you're not a fan, tell your parents, your relatives, your friends about StarTrekContinues.com. Like us on Facebook. Join our Facebook group. There are a lot of people in the show that you would recognize. My dear friend and a little brother, Todd Habercorn. Please, keep it down. Keep it down. Just kidding. I love Todd. He plays Spock. And he does a great job. Great job. And then those of you that anime fans know Chuck Huber. He plays Dr. McCoy. And anybody that ever watched Mythbusters?
What?
Grant Imahara from Mythbusters plays Sulu. We have a great group of people. We've had guest stars from Doctor Who, Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars, Buck Rogers, Buffy, you name it.
Okay.
Yeah, our next episode is our guest stars from Buffy. Oh, anyway, okay, so let's have a couple of questions, and let's talk about a couple of things that you'd like to talk about. And if anyone has a question, just, oh, well, there's a mic right there. If you have a question, come on over to that microphone. I tell you what, let's do, you guys, because hold on a second, because I don't want you to feel bad about standing. Let's have about 10 of you, and because that may be all we have time for. Yes, sweetie.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Huge fan, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, like, I'm trash, so, like, I basically live and breathe anime, and,
You are our kind of person. You're in good company.
So I just want to say, like, thank you for everything you've done, and also, you're definitely one of my main inspirations because I would love to become a voice actor. I mean, I love to sing, I love to act, so it's just something I really want to do.
Excellent.
So, what's your advice for someone like me?
I'm so glad you're the first question. Because I know a lot of people have that question. And a lot of times you finish a panel and the person that was going to ask that question didn't make it up to the microphone. So here's the answer. Thank you, sweetheart. If you're interested in voice acting, first of all, I was very lucky, or I should say blessed. I was very, very blessed because I got involved in anime when it was still very small. It was this weird little niche thing, you know, that not a lot of people knew about. It was nowhere near as mainstream as it is now. But so I was really lucky to get in on the ground floor, blessed. But if you're interested in getting in voice acting now, here's what I would say. The operative word in voice acting is acting. Now that may seem like obvious, but it's not about making funny voices. A lot of people think that they should be a voice actor because they can imitate SpongeBob or, you know what I mean, or Krusty the Clown or Yoda or whatever. But it's not about imitation. It's not even about making funny voices. It's about playing a role. It's acting. It's acting. It's just acting with your voice. So most of the voice actors I know, and I know most of them, with a very few exceptions, I can think of two, and that's all. I can think of two voice actors, and the rest of them have a huge amount of acting experience and training and background. I mean, even me, my major was film, my minor was theater. All the voice actors I know have a huge background in acting. So acting is the first thing. Get yourself involved in acting. Develop your skills as an actor, first and foremost. The second thing is you have to be where the work is done. Fortunately from you, you're close to New York. There is some work there, not a lot, but the main places where this kind of work is done is Los Angeles, Houston, Dallas, where Funimation is, of course, some in New York, and a couple of little places, like a couple of things going on in North Carolina, Vancouver, Canada, and a little bit in Toronto, but there are only a handful of places, basically. And it's like a lot of things in life, you know, there are certain places where certain things are more prominent, right? So like if you wanted to be a country star, where would you live?
Yes.
Nashville, country music capital of the world, right? Or maybe you go to Austin, Texas, or someplace where that kind of thing is prevalent and there are more opportunities for it. So that would be the two things. And even though they're big things, that's really the only two things, is develop your skills as an actor and then get as much experience as you can in that field, and then be where the work is. I mean, put yourself in a position to be able to audition for things. You know, like people will write me and they'll go, I want to audition for Funimation. And I'll write them back and I'll say, where do you live? They'll go, Montana! And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're not gonna, Funimation's not gonna even return your email. Because you can't be there. You know what I mean? If they get a show and they need the show recorded in 10 days, they're not going to cast somebody, you see what I'm saying, that's not right there and able to come in and get it done. Time is a very big part of recording a lot of these series. Especially now, you guys know, with the simulcasting thing, what do they call it? Like the like the broadcast thing, where like within almost immediately that it's released in Japan, it's released in English. You can't take your time with stuff like that. Like, you've got to get it done quick. There are people that, you know what, I've done 100 shows at Funimation, at least. And yet, even now, when I'm in Dallas recording, if I'm at Funimation and I'll see a couple of other directors in the hallway, and they'll be like, "Hey man, I'd love to do something with you." And hey, and you know what they'll say to me? "Well, all I'm working on right now are these broadcast dubs, and you know, we need them done like this." And they won't even cast somebody they've worked with for years necessarily, because of the time crunch. So being where these studios are and being readily available to, I mean, they could call you and say, "Can you come in this afternoon?" You know what I mean? You can't, even if you lived only a few hours away, it would be difficult. So living where the work is done is a very important part of that. Thank you, sweetie.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Hi.
Hey there.
Wanted to say that both my fiance and I loved you as Junpei.
I thought you were going to say, I want to say that both my fiancés. You go, boy. Wow.
But my question is, what kind of reaction do you have, like, when people say, like, they love some of your work that you get that have less of a fan base? So instead of like Full Metal Alchemist or in High School's Host Club, they say they loved you as the character from Monokemia to Fall of Alchemy.
Oh my gosh. I just fell in love with you. Tell your fiance it's over. You know what? My answer to that is simple. I absolutely love it. Somebody came up today. Are you in the room here? Somebody came up today and said, was looking at my pictures, and they go, "Man, I wish he had a Tsubasa picture." Yeah! And I was like, you just made my life. Yeah, and don't you know it? I had some 5 pictures in my suitcase, and I pulled the 5 picture out for them. I have Naruto pictures in my suitcase. I have Junpei from Persona. I have Yoshimori from Kikaishi. And I love it. You know what? I absolutely love it when people bring up obscure things. I was at Colossal Con in Cleveland last weekend, and there was this one guy, sent by God, I'm sure. Every day he would come to my autograph session and he would bring 3 or 4 things I hadn't seen in 15 years. I was like, oh, oh. Like Razafon, Princess Nine, what were some of the others that he brought? What was the one with Muchan, my little puppet wife, Muchan? What was that show?
Midori Days.
Midori Days. And like these kind of, like these shows that I know I was in, but you just don't, nobody ever really talks about. I love it. The answer is I absolutely love it. So thank you for even asking.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you, and congratulations on your, thank you. Congratulations on your upcoming nuptials. Hi.
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 I love you.
Oh, I love you. You're my princess forever.
favorite role that you've ever done and why?
You know, for the longest time, I was afraid to answer.
Oh.
Because whoever asks you that question inherently probably has one they would love for you to say. You know, like if somebody dressed as Haruhi comes up to me and says, "What's your favorite character you've ever played?" I'm thinking, wouldn't she just love it if I said, "Tamaki," right? Long live the poor. You know, I mean, wouldn't she love that, right? So I'll totally, wanting to please the fans, I'll be like, "Oh, I love Tamaki, he's my favorite." But then if somebody else comes up dressed as Yuki, who's your favorite character? She would probably love it if I said, "Oh, Zero, Vampire Knight," you know, or whatever. So I would kind of, you know, go with whoever came up to me. And then something happened that changed all that. When I recorded the last line of Brotherhood, I'll never forget, I was in the recording booth, and there's a picture window right here, and the director and the engineer in the control room right there. I've got the screen in front of me, and the mic's hanging here, and script is right here. And I'm like, oh crap, it's the last line. And I thought, this is the last thing I may ever say as Edward Elric. And I started really getting emotional about it, because I played him for a long time. And he's like so wonderful. The show is such a wonderful show, and Edward's such a great character. And I did the last little monologue that he does, you know, after he says goodbye to Winry gets on the train, and there's no such thing as equivalent exchange. It doesn't exist, that thing. So I wanted to capture the moment. So I put my phone on the window seal of the window here and recorded that last line, so that I would have it. And it was on the internet for a while, and then I think it got taken down because copyright. Maybe I'll put it up again. But anyway, so I kept it. And after that moment, I had to concede that Ed is the favorite thing that I've ever done. With Tamaki is a very close second place. Oh, I love him. Thank you, sweetheart.
You too.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
Fizzes are cool.
My name's Kiana, and I'm
Sierra?
Kiana.
Oh, Kiana. Nice to meet you, Kiana.
You too. I'm like a huge Dragon Ball Z fan.
Ooh.
And I know that sometimes the voice actors, like when they're having their power-up scenes, they sometimes pass out, like when Sean Schummel did. Did you ever have that when you were recording as Broly?
Well, I never passed out. It's funny when that's a good thing you can say. I never passed out. Broly was hard. He was hard on my voice. I had no idea how hard he was going to be. They called me, Funimation called me and said, "Hey, we want you to come up and play this character named Broly in Dragon Ball Z." And I was like, woohoo! I went up there, and within 10 minutes, I was like, God, kill me. Oh my gosh. I'm like, holy crap, there's like 20 more pages. Because all he does is scream and yell. And he doesn't scream and yell like this. He's that real, it's bad, it's hard. And so even though I loved playing the role, and I still do, like just a few weeks ago, I did some more Broly for another video game. But I have an enormous amount of respect for those DBZ actors that, like, 800 episodes. They're just fighting the whole time. Like, how do you do it? Oh my gosh. It's rough. In fact, somebody on Facebook the other day sent me an article. They forwarded an article to me about some voice actors that are like trying to push some kind of SAG, not legislation, but some kind of new rules that they want to put in place, protection for voice actors, because that kind of stuff will kill you. I mean, it'll kill your voice. I mean, I'm a singer, and I got to tell you guys something. Over the last few years, I don't feel like I sound as good anymore, and I don't, you know what I mean? And I lose my voice more easily, and I haven't done a lot of singing. And I really think that maybe that might be part of it. That you do these video games and things where you're screaming bloody murder for 4 hours. Your voice is just a muscle, you know, and it's not a very big one, and you can damage it. And so I have a great deal of respect for those people. It's hard. It's tough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
I was wondering what it was like in the Rock Lee show voicing Orochimaru, who's such a creepy and mentally disturbed character.
He is, isn't he?
And especially in such a campy show.
Yes. Can I tell you something? Okay. When Steve Bloom did Orochimaru, it was serious, right? He was a bad guy. And he was always like this, right? That was all he did, even when he was angry. I mean, there really wasn't a lot of examples of Orochimaru getting his hand stuck in a blender, you know what I mean? Or being dragged around by a camel or something crazy stupid. That's the kind of hijinks that took place in Rock Lee. So when he's doing his plotting and he's being Orochimaru like you remember, that was easy. But suddenly he's doing all these crazy antics and you're like, what would he sound like? Steve Bloom never had to do that. Like, you have no reference of what he would sound like. So I had to kind of make it up. And we went with the humor, of course, since it was supposed to be funny, you know. Like, you know, you'd make a funny sound instead of a serious sound. Like, but there was a lot of new ground we had to break with Orochimaru in that series. That's a great question. Thank you for asking, man.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Joseph Randazzo.
Joseph.
Yes.
I love that name. It's my middle name. Victor Joseph.
As a fan of the Oran High School Host Club, I want to say thank you for giving us that majestic and luxurious voice. But I have one question.
You're most welcome, commoner.
But I have one question I'd like to ask. How did it feel to be a part of the fourth Naruto franchise, Naruto Shippuden the movie?
Ooh, was that the one that I